Hello everyone and welcome to our New York Empoleon's Week 7 battle of the APA Evolution League. We are taking on the Choice Specs and the Orlando Magikarps. If you've never seen them before, or if you have and you like him, go check out his channel. Link is in the description below, as my opponents are every week. Now, before we get into this match, I want to give a disclaimer. I have done a stern talking to with my front office, who definitely just abandoned me for this match. Now, I don't think what I would call quote-unquote under-prepped. If you want more information, go check out my team builder. But I definitely didn't prep as much as I kind of wish I had. So I definitely think that there was a questionable amount of revisions, I guess. Usually what happens is I build a team once, it's chaotic, it's interesting, it's done in like 20 minutes, and then I revise, and I use mocks, and I use people's feedback as opportunities to figure out what the actual best matchups are. In this case, I just didn't have that opportunity, so I made a team that I like, but it was definitely a little bit raw. So, we are going to have to play with that because that's what we got to work with, and I do think the matchup that I ended up with is actually fairly favorable. If you look at it, Hawlucha does put a lot of pressure on his team. If I can wear down the Donphan and the Snorlax a little bit, Acrobatics can go crazy. If I can get my rocks up with Nidoqueen, that would be amazing. And other than that, Scizor does just chip down his entire team, and Ditto is useful to figure out information, as well as potentially get access to things like Aurora Veil or the Charizard X if he does go for the Dragon Dance. Now, he is rocking Snorlax, Galvantula, Charizard, Alolan Ninetales, Donphan, and Conkeldurr. He might have webs, he might have rocks, he might have veil, he's got all sorts of things, and I didn't bring Defog, which is a brilliant oversight on my part, but it is what it is, and we're going to have to play around that. So in order to play with the fact that I didn't bring Defog, I really didn't see the Galvantula coming. I am going to lead with my Scizor to try to not let him get his veil up, or if he does lead with his Galvantula, to threaten that as well, as he is going to go into the Donphan, and I just go straight for the U-turn. No reason for me to Bullet Punch first turn. He was never going to stay in, and I can go straight into my Vaporeon, which is the freest Scald ever. We do see his Donphan isn't leftover, so I'm not sure what it is. It also wasn't Rocky Helmet, so I'm not 100% sure what that is. Maybe Assault Vest, who knows? But we do get the Ninetales to switch in and actually get the burn on the first Scald, which is actually phenomenal. Now, at this point, I think he's just going to set up Veil. It's totally free. I really don't have a great answer to it. And so I am going to just stay in and click Wish, not really expecting a Freeze Dry first turn. And that allows me, when I do click the Wish and he does click the Veil, to be able to go out into my Ditto or Scizor, depending on what I think he's going to do. I think he's going to Freeze Dry at this point, in all honesty, so I'm going to switch out into my Scizor to take the Freeze Dry and get the Wish back, but he actually pulls the switch out into the Charizard, which is really bad for my Scizor. So I know that he might click Dragon Dance. He's got the Veil. I'm not doing basically any damage to him anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Even if I click U-turn, I'm doing like 10%, if that. And so there's really no reason for me to stay in and risk him just going straight for a Flare Blitz. So I am going to double back out into my Vaporeon, which is my Charizard check. If he does start Dragon Dancing, I can take any one hit. And what I'm going to try to do is kind of scout out how offensive he is. So he's going to go for that Dragon Dance, which is really unfortunate, as I just allowed him to do that for free. But if he is not like max attack, if he's running some bulk, then he's going to do under 50% to my Vaporeon, which is perfect because I have the leftovers and I have the Wish, and I can always just kind of stall that out. So that's what I'm going to scout out, and I'm going to go for a Toxic since I am at full health right now. And he is going to go for the Dragon Claw, and you're going to see it's going to do 53%, which does mean he is max attack Jolly, which is super unfortunate, but it is what it is, and he is going to be able to dodge my Toxic, which is even better, and we are going to be stuck now where we're not wearing his Charizard down, and he is going to predict me, now that he's seen Wish and Toxic, to have the Protect as my last move, and he is probably going to go for another Dragon Dance, so I'm going to just Roar at this point, which is my last move. I don't have the Protect, which allows me to get rid of the big threat of this Mega Charizard at +2, and goes straight into the Conkeldurr, at which point I was like, that's really unfortunate. I don't really know if I can Scald Burn this, because I don't know if he has Guts. Toxic is much better, but if he is Guts, then I'm still kind of screwed. But I do need to figure out, maybe he's Assault Vested, what he's going on. So I am just going to go for the Wish here, as he is going to knock off my leftovers. And at this point, I make a huge misplay going for the Scald here. It does nothing. He goes for the Drain Punch, which is totally predictable, and I totally could have gone out into something like Scizor right there. We see the Scald does literally nothing, and I lose the Wish, and I lose Vaporeon for no damage. Now, at this point, I just misplay. There is no two ways about it. I calced completely like an idiot a Hawlucha versus a level 50 Conkeldurr with Veil. And I was like, wow, I still kill the Conkeldurr even through Veil. So I'm going to click Sky Attack thinking, yeah, I totally kill this thing. And no, I do 50%, which is way more reasonable because the actual calc, which I had done before, said that I do kill a Conkeldurr from full without Veil with a Sky Attack, which is why I was running it in the first place. There's still a 30% chance that he flinches, which is what I'm hoping for, because then Veil runs out, his Conkeldurr dies, my Hawlucha is healthy, and it's going to be able to outspeed everything. But he doesn't flinch, he gets the Ice Punch off and does a clean 70%, and the only move that I can go for right now is the Acrobatics to try to take him out, since I can't kill him with a Drain Punch from there. So I will just take him out with that Acrobatics as he shows the Mach Punch. Brings me down to 16%, he goes into the Donphan, and that thing has Ice Shard, and I can't switch out my Hawlucha, because nothing wants to come in on the Donphan's Ice Shard. And so I have to let Hawlucha die. So what was supposed to be a sweeper, and admittedly would have been had I just stalled out Veil for literally one more turn with something like the Scizor or the Ditto, I would have been able to sweep my Hawlucha potentially, but instead it gets barely one kill and then dies as my Nidoqueen comes in and he switches into his clearly thick fat Snorlax, and I was like, alright, that's what it is. I'm going to go out into my Tapu Koko as he goes for the Curse, and I was like, yep. This seems about right. Seems like about what I'm expecting. I'm going to pop off my Z Mirror move right now, which I sort of wish just allowed me to Mirror move anything, but it doesn't. It only allows me to Mirror move an offensive move, and since he had gone for the Curse, I don't get any boost out of that. I don't get to attack him with a Z attack of any type. Return would have been super nice there, but obviously that's not the way the cookie crumbles. So I am going to get my +2 attack, but I get no extra benefit out of that. And he is going to just go for a second Curse. And now that I don't have a Z attack, but he is at neutral and his physical defense is obviously weaker, Wild Charge is going to do a hefty chunk to the Snorlax, which eats its Iapapa Berry, makes it healthy again, and the Earthquake is going to take out my Tapu Koko, and we are going to be really far behind the 8-ball at this point. But I can go into my Ditto, and I can try to 1v1 the Snorlax right now, but I'm actually just going to go into Ditto and double out into my Scizor, thinking that he's probably going to recycle on this turn since he can survive any hit from my Ditto. I've scouted out his entire set. He can't hit Scizor super effectively. He doesn't have the Fire Punch. So I can just go for a knockoff at this point to be able to get rid of his Iapapa Berry so he can't recycle it anymore, which is exactly what I'm going to do. It is going to be at the risk of my Scizor taking a lot of damage, but I think I'd rather get rid of that berry, and I can U-turn the following turn just to bring him down under 50% and go into my Ditto once again, which can take any hit from this thing. And now that I am way above him in health and he doesn't have the berry, I can win the 1v1. As you can see, Earthquake isn't a 2-hit KO, and I am going to Earthquake him. He is going to go for the Earthquake on me, and we are going to be able to take that and win this 1v1 since he has no switch-in, since his Charizard has already Mega Evolved, and nothing else wants to take a +2 Earthquake. Now he goes into the Ninetales. I think that Ditto is still valuable to me since it can transform into something else. And I'm going to go into my Scizor, which this is the biggest misplay of the game. I think there's no reason for him to sack his Ninetales because it wins him the game once Scizor goes down. So I'm just going to go for the U-turn thinking he's probably going to switch out. But the realistic play is kill the Ninetales since he wants the Veil for the most number of turns, because Bullet Punch still kills Ninetales through the Veil right here. And instead, I go for the U-turn, and he does actually choose to stay in with his Ninetales, and it is going to have the Hidden Power Fire. I eat my Occa Berry, but I go down to the Ninetales right there. So that's super unfortunate. I thought I was Expert Belt, but I guess I was Occa Berry. That's my own just like forgetfulness of this match. But I do go into my Nidoqueen, which is Scarfed and does take out the Ninetales with a Sludge Wave. But the problem is that just allows the Donphan to come in for free and be able to take me out. There's no way I can stall out Veil at this point, so there's no reason for me to switch out. I really just can't kill anything else. Even an Ice Beam would not kill the Donphan through the Veil at that point. So there's really no justification to switching out there, as I am just going to go out into my Ditto at this point, and I would click Earthquake because it's my best move, but he has already shown the Ice Shard, and that will take out the Ditto from there. So I lose 3-0 this week. It's a week in which it was effectively just a 20-minute build, and I definitely misplayed a couple of times. The miscalc on the Conkeldurr really cost me a lot, but also the popping off at the Tapu Koko too early was not ideal. I definitely could have played that better, and it's really unfortunate that's the way it shook out, but that is what it is. I am still 5-2 in this league with a pretty good differential and still very much in position to make playoffs, so I will come back next week and I will make sure that we play our best game as the New York Empoleon. My front office has gotten a nice slap on the back of the wrist, and we are just telling them like, hey, come on, need some help. Really appreciate it. So thank you to anyone who's in my front office. If I don't thank you enough, I really do mean to, if you feel like I am a thankless man. But as it stands, we are going to be taking on the Blackmont Rye Cougars next week in the APA Evolution League. I hope you guys are enjoying it. We are still on this run, and hopefully, I know the winning streak is over, but we are still up in a good position to at least make playoffs, possibly even with a pretty decent seed, and go from there. So thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys all back here next week. Take care, everybody. That's what I do. I do that.